Do you feel like you are always processing, always working on healing, but you don't feel like you are moving forward? Or maybe you can see the vision, but it still feels so far away, like there's this canyon between you and it. Remember, this is where faith comes in. Faith says, I don't know exactly how, but I know I'm held. I know I'm being guided. Faith is not passive, it is the energy that keeps you moving when healing feels heavy, when you are feeling stuck and your vision feels distant. Remember, everything is happening in God's time. Welcome, beautiful souls, to Infinite You. I'm Dr. Sheri, spiritual psychologist, multidimensional mindset mentor, and soul led success coach. And on this channel, I love, love, love talking about psychology, energy, the science behind it, multidimensional mindset, faith, and your beautiful, amazing, complicated, beautiful, incredible journey of becoming who you were designed to be in this particular life, this particular timeline, so you can attract more of what it is your heart desires and soul to, of course. So if this resonates with you, hit subscribe, hit like, definitely comment, and hit that notification bell so you can catch each of my videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday when I release them. So let's talk about healing and flow and the weight of old stories and wounds. I just want you to know, and the more that I lean in and heal my past and love on my body and my own journey with what I have going on with, my own physicalness, right? So I talk about this in every video. 3D is your physical body, your conscious mind. 4D is your mental energy, your programming, your subconscious mind, your emotions. And then 5D, of course, is your energy, the energetic aspect of who you are, soul, and definitely God's mind. And so we're moving into a different energy right now where our human consciousness is expanded so much, and we're getting these beautiful energetic upgrades all over the entire planet. And part of these upgrades, some people for sure are calling it the ascension. But I think the bigger picture is this: we don't have to carry so much burden that we used to carry. We don't have to struggle. We don't have to fight. We don't have to force any longer. It used to be, I believe, in the old paradigm, right? And I'm a Gen Xer. I'm sure baby boomers totally can relate to this as well, where we just had to, and I want to say, historically, from the psychology perspective, from the psychology lens, I want to say probably like Sigmund Freud 100+ years ago until now, it was all about digging in deeper, psychoanalysis, getting into the root of every single one of your problems, figuring it out, all of your programming, all of the things that make who you are, you, in your mind, in your subconscious programming. And I think with this new energetic upgrade and what's happening right now on the planet as we expand and move more and more into a spiritual or soulful expression of who we are, we don't have to be burdened that way any longer. It doesn't mean that we don't need to do the work. It doesn't mean that being intentional about being self-aware no longer matters, because it definitely does. But I think that the energetic shift, the mindset shift, the multidimensional mindset shift is your body in 3D is always, always, always connected to your soul in 5D. You are an energetic being. And then I think that you can kind of begin to pick and choose major themes, things that are holding you back, things that are keeping you stuck or looping or addicted to something or in fear or in lack. Your major themes that you have going on. And I just recorded an entire video about this, having to do particularly with our lower chakras, our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plexus, because they are definitely earthbound chakras in a lower frequency that keep us in, you know, lack, in fear, in fretting about because we don't feel connected or our emotional needs are being met, or maybe we don't have boundaries, or maybe we have too many, or maybe we have, you know, super unrealistic, self-esteem that leads us down the path of narcissism, or maybe we just feel like crap and we don't feel like, we're worth anything, doing anything worthwhile on the planet. And so I'm not saying that getting into 4D and understanding your deeper programming don't matter, but I don't think it's that deep psychoanalysis of figuring every tiny little thing out where, you can just simply move on. So I had an experience when I was about 20 years old, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but it might be worthwhile to talk about now, um, where I severely disappointed my father, and I think that I was just being a typical 20-year-old, and I just was a pre-med major, and I really didn't feel like being a medical doctor, and so I decided to drop out of college. So yes, I'm sure he was like not a happy camper, but it was a decision that I felt like I wanted to make and do other things. And at one point at the age of 20, and I just adored him and I worshiped him, he said to me that I was the biggest disappointment of his life. And I remember being shaken to my core. And I remember, sorry, I'm like divulging all of this stuff, but there's a bigger purpose to it. And I forgive him and I send him a ton of love. So it's not about that. But the bigger point that I'm making here is this. I went for a walk with a girlfriend and I said to her, if I don't get a grip on who I am and what I want and who I would like to become, I may as well jump off of this bridge right now. We were walking over a bridge. And yes, it was melodramatic, but the analogy I think still sticks for me because because in that moment, I definitely realized that I got to decide my own identity, how I felt about myself, the vision that I had for myself. So I definitely kind of transcended, programming and limiting thoughts and beliefs and all the other things that were going on. It's not that it didn't matter. It's not that things did not come up, later on in my life, from, being in my early 20s at the time until now. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying too that you don't have to go through every tiny little thing to lean into the identity that is aligned with the frequency of your soul. Create your beingness, create your identity, whatever you want to become, create it from the frequency of your soul. And that was such a beautiful gift from my father, really, in a paradoxical sort of way, because I definitely just immediately cleared the space. I made a decision. I was leaning all the way in. I was going to live my life, listening to my soul, listening to my higher power, listening to the message from God's mind so I could move on. And so, really, it's all about making that decision. I made another video about this last week as well called Decide. So I will link probably the Decide video to the end of this video. So remember, healing definitely will clear the space. Without it, we will carry the weight of old stories and wounds. You do not have to get rid of every single thing. Pick the big things. Pick the things that are really affecting you and interfering with your well-being, your potential, your sense of self-worth, and your relationships with others, and anything you have going on in your body. Healing is definitely the release. And like I said, the story about me being on that bridge, vision gives you direction. Without vision, you will drift aimlessly. You will repeat cycles. You will continue to make not the best choices for yourself. Vision is your becoming. And remember that faith bridges the two. I cannot imagine living my life without being connected to God. And for me personally, for Christ consciousness, 100%. But we all have different ways of being in the world and different different ways of worship and faith work for each and every one of us individually. But faith absolutely is essential, because without it, healing can feel endless. We can feel alone. We can feel isolated. But with faith, we can trust that pain has a purpose, that our vision and our mission may be circuitous, but there's always a bigger path. There's always something waiting for us. Faith is the bridge that will carry you through. So think of healing as the release. Whatever you need to do, you do not need to nitpick. You do not need to take deep dives, right? You are way more than intellectual energy. You are way more than your mind. You are intuitive. You are an energetic being. It is part psychology, part energy, part intuition, part leaning in, part listening. Healing is the release. But loving who you are and creating balance in your mind, in your body, and paying attention to soul is definitely, and integrating that and embodying that is really what a beautiful life is all about. So healing is the release, vision is the becoming, and faith is the bridge that will absolutely carry you through. I love how I told a bridge story, and here we are talking about faith being the bridge. You are the only one who can tune into the frequency and the energy of who you are, to know who you are meant to become, what you want to create, what you want to attract, what you want to be, do, have, and experience in this beautiful, amazing thing called life. None of this is linear. It is an amalgam. It is an integration. We lean on, mind in one second, body in another, and definitely soul, hopefully most of the time. It is a beautiful mystery. It is a beautiful dance. And sometimes healing leads, and sometimes vision pulls, and sometimes always faith carries. And I know that in my own journey, I will say to myself, oh my gosh, I've done so much healing. I've done so much work. What the heck am I still doing here? Because God still has a purpose for me. And I also do know too that in every new layer of healing, you are creating space for a new you, a new vision, something new that you are uncovering. And every time, for sure, I lean into faith, I find doors that open that I never could have forced open with effort, with mindset, with not having this full embodiment all alone. Healing frees you, vision excites you, and faith aligns you with the flow of God, with the flow of source, with the flow of infinite possibilities, with the flow of the universe. So ask yourself today, where am I right now? Is this a season of healing? Is this a season of visioning? Or am I being called to lean into faith? Drop your answer in the comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit like, and definitely hit that notification bell. I will put links in the description box below for my free newsletter, for my free webinar, Recode Your Reality, and then definitely a session with me. I will put the link for that as well below. So I will see you next time. I would love to connect with you. Remember that healing clears the space. Alignment clears the space, right? So you don't have to heal every tiny little thing. This is all about getting into the frequency of your soul and living from that place in your mind and loving your body in that same way. Healing clears the space. Alignment clears that space. Vision gives you direction, and faith is your bridge. And together they will carry you into further and further alignment, intentionality, and becoming with the beautiful soul you already are. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful morning, day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I will see you next time. Namaste.